Hello, 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 hello. We've made it. You've made it. It's absolute football podcast time. Of course it is. We've got some football to talk about. And I haven't got something to talk about my own because I've brought two extreme strengths of the north. I've got two northern lasses with me today to talk over the football. It's Charlotte and Hayley. We'll start with you, Charlotte. How are you?
I'm really, really good, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm not too bad. There's been some drama with kids going to bed, so it's just another day of the week. But we dealt with that.
Standard.
It was more kicking off than Antonio Conte out there. That's all I can say. But it's been dealt with. So unlike that situation. And Hayley, how are you? Welcome to the pod. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. I must apologise to our viewers, maybe not our listeners, but our viewers. So basically, I'm in a hotel for work, and I washed my hair earlier, and then I realised after I washed my hair, I forgot my hairdryer, and the one in the room is terrible, and it's still damp. So I'm just gonna have to live with this. Unfortunately, I'm just straight. I'm not having a good time.
It's the life of a hotel. You live with what you have in a hotel.
Other than that, I'm fine.
Other than that, everything's great. Well, that's good to hear. And of course, we're back because it's a Monday. Unless you're watching this on the recording, it might not be a Monday. It might be a different day. But we've had another wonderful weekend of football, wonderful weekend to discuss. And I want to get straight into it with the big topic of the weekend. We were just talking about it off pod and we had to stop ourselves because we were so keen to talk about it. Tottenham, Antonio Conte, press conferences, angry, Italian, emotional. Any other adjectives to describe it?
Furious, just fuming.
Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, I think we'll dig into it, but just to give a bit of context. So, obviously it was after a football game. It was after Tottenham-Southampton. Southampton, of course, got back into the game. 3-1 Tottenham were leading, and Saints scored very, very late on with a VAR penalty, and it cost Tottenham 2 points. It got Saints an important point, and Tottenham again showed a kind of bit of flaky disappointing. So, Charlotte, did the game surprise you? Did the result surprise you?
I'm going to be really honest now. I obviously take part in, the Sky Sports Super 6. And I went with Jeff Stelling as well. I had Southampton to win because I just thought it is typical Tottenham to obviously get a result and whatever, and then go to Southampton, who are obviously bottom of the league, and because they're so inconsistent to obviously get beat. They didn't get beat, but they might as well have got beat because obviously 3-1 up. Absolutely cruising. I say absolutely cruising. I don't think Southampton played that bad. I thought Southampton played actually quite well.
Southampton did well, yeah. They've been good last couple of weeks, yeah.
Yeah, they've I won't say completely turned it around because obviously they're still bottom, but they are picking up points and the performances are so much better. But Tottenham, I've said all season how inconsistent they are, but honestly, it was, I don't mean to laugh, but I did laugh. I don't mean to, but I did laugh.
I think it was the fact it was so late as well that they chucked it away, and they seem to be doing everything they can to not get top four.
Penalty as well, giving away a penalty. Ward-Prowse is going to score that penalty. If it's a free kick or a penalty, Ward-Prowse is guaranteed to score it. I'm sorry.
God, so, that man from a set piece, I would not want to be in a firing squad for James Ward-Prowse stood there because I'm dead, absolutely dead. I mean, yeah, fantastic for them. Good point for Saints. That's a good, fantastic for Saints. Not so good for Tottenham. They just, as you say, they just don't. They seem to be dropping stuff all over the place. They're dropping the ball. Something's not right with them. Again, it always seems to be the way with Tottenham. Hayley, did you see this coming for Tottenham? Did you think that was a potential banana skin?
I mean, they've had such a weird season, Spurs. Like, they were doing relatively well, but then they just seem to be having a bit of a wobble, don't they? Like, and I think I'm with Shao on this one. Like, it must have been Southampton, almost like they kind of went into it a bit too cocky and then just slipped up, in my opinion. So, but I didn't see the full match. I saw the highlights and I saw the aftermath, which I'm sure we'll get onto. But yeah, like, I don't know. I think it just got far too big for their boots when it came to, almost like they walked in there like, oh yeah, bottom of the league, laughing, we'll get this. And they might have been cruising at 3-1 at first, but like, I think they just let their guard down a bit too much.
I think you're right. And so just add in, say, obviously, you can join us in the chat. Come join us in the show. We love it when you join in the chat. Chris is there giving us, he's actually, James Ward-Prowse missed his last 2 penalties. So maybe not so a bit shot shy usually. But
I still like him. He's still a good one.
Business. And I think you're right. I think the Saints have been over the last couple of weeks. Okay, they had 10 men against Manchester United at Old Trafford, but they were good up until the point that United lost the red card anyway. They've been playing a bit better. They seem to be pulling together for the new manager. I think we were kind of saying they look certs to go down, and we'll come on to relegation later. And it just seems so open, and there's just no easy games. There's no, particularly away from home, we're behind the fans. They're trying to get a result, and at 3-1. Took the foot off the gas, perhaps, and didn't get the job done. And also to concede 3, although Saints have been better, Saints don't score goals. They do not score goals. To concede 3 goals to them is very, very disappointing. So Tottenham fans will be disappointed. And so was Antonio Conte. He was rather disappointed. To quote his own words, "I am upset," as he said, which I think we all guessed 5 minutes into the press conference that was the case. Instant reaction, Antonio Conference press conference. That's what I'm going to call him now. Antonio press
We're
conference.
not on the conference yet. But honestly, he was literally the Italian version of me when Dale lose, even though I should be used to it. Honestly, like I am to my mum and dad when Dale lose. But obviously, I'm in a northern accent. But do you know what? As you know, you both know, like, obviously, how I feel about Conte. I don't particularly rate the guy. I'm not fond of him, but I tell you what, he has gone up in my estimations because that was comedy gold. That made my absolute weekend. And just some of the things he were coming out with and the home truths, I just thought, whoa. And I actually think this could be the beginning of the end for him, because I've got a feeling after that, and just I think obviously I think I seen something on Twitter as well that he'd been on he's got on a plane today. Is he going back home for a little bit as well? I've seen a video of him like on a plane. So I'm thinking, obviously, after the international break, it could possibly be sacked. That's my personal opinion. I just think it is the beginning of the end for Conte, and I think he's had a fair few rants. I remember one early on in the season as well, and he basically turned around and said, it's frustrating with the team he's dealing with. It feels like he can't really do anything with this team. And I just think after that rant that he had, I just think that's the end for him, unfortunately, which I'm gutted about now, because when he's coming out with things like that and having meltdowns like that, it does make it quite entertaining.
Yeah. Well, so why don't you do this every week? The football's boring and bland, but the press conferences are something else. That's it. They'll all buy tickets to his press conferences, not the games.
I'm buying tickets to the press conference.
Yeah, it's absolutely belting. I think you're right. I think I'd be surprised if he makes it to the international break. I mean, he's gone off at the players. He's gone off at the board. He's gone off at everything to do with the club. I've clipped a couple of quotes into the particulars. What he said is because they are used to it here. They are used to it. They don't play for something important. They don't want to play under pressure. They don't want to play under stress. It's easy this way. It's Tottenham's story. 20 years there's the owner and they've never won something. But why? The fault is only for the club or for every manager that stay here.
Surely you knew that before he came. Surely you knew all this before he came. But money just must have been so much appealing to him, because we all know Spurs, I don't mean to be awful, but they bottle jobs. Absolute bottle jobs.
I reckon he probably did know it. But he thought, I'll be the man to change it. And then he'd come in and just been like, nah. No.
It's much more fun just to implode and have it. I mean, say, Hayley, you've heard obviously with your job, your role, you hear quite a few press conferences and quite a few comments and interviews. Have you ever seen one quite like that from an existing manager on an existing club?
I can't say I have, and I mean, I will probably find out in the next 12 hours or so his fate, if he is back in Italy or wherever he lives. I don't know. I'll find out. I'm waiting for the embargoed email to drop in my inbox any minute. But my God, like, I have never seen a manager implode like he did. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was entertaining, but I think he's just kind of like, it's got to the point where he's just bottled it up and he's just flipped his lid.
He's just had enough.
I think that's what. Yeah, and then I I just don't think that from what he's kind of thrown everyone under the bus a little bit, I think, but he's probably not meant to. I think he's just gone about it the really, really wrong way. And I think it's just I shouldn't be laughing, but
I think because the thing is, I think a lot of what he's saying, and we all resonate with it. I think that's why it's so kind of funny to everybody watching it, is that I don't think he's wrong in a lot of the things that he's saying. There's just, you can't do certain things in certain roles if you want to continue in those roles. If you don't want to continue in those roles, then maybe that helps him get out of there. But the minute you go at the players publicly like that, you're going to struggle with the dressing room. You know, it seems that there's issues there already. The minute you go at the board, good night Vienna. But he's been on. We've been saying it, I think, since probably early in the season that he's been looking for a way out, and now he just doesn't want to. You can't go out in that setting, I think, publicly that aggressively and do that. But knowing Conte, I think they said he apologised, which actually surprised me because I don't think
he has apologised apparently.
Even he's realised he's gone too far.
I reckon they'll keep until the rest of the season because there's only a few weeks left, and then they'll probably say, "Nah, that's it now. Like, let's just leave it there." I think that's what will happen.
Yeah, I mean, so Chris has said it there. Daniel Levy at Spurs, 22 years, last trophy 2008, and Conte did know what he was getting into. And I don't know what you thought when they announced the Conte sign. I thought, well, this is a short term. This isn't going to happen. I remember him being linked to Manchester United in the past, and he's in his early part of his career and some of the stuff he's won. He's up there in terms of the managers, but nothing is long term. Nothing is a real kind of. I think Juventus, maybe he had a bit of a stint there, particularly in the Premier League. You just think this is going to fall out. This is the type of football he plays. Unless you're winning, it's a bit like the Mourinho style of football. Unless you're winning, it's very difficult to take. Even I think the fans were getting turgid by it. They bought. You know, go back to the start of the season with Tottenham, and we were saying, okay, Arsenal have done some great business, Tottenham have done some great business, and look at the transition, and that will make it even worse as well, that they're looking across at their neighbours who are laughing at them generally anyway, and then Conte comes out and does this. It's something.
Do you know what I'm really funny though with Tottenham? Even though I've been saying all season how inconsistent they've been, they're still up there. And from some of the results, and that's how like the league is this season, and how like everyone's taking points off each other because how inconsistent they have been. And now I've been sat here pretty much every single week saying, "Oh, they basically play negative football, blah de blah." They have still scraped wins, and they still are up there.
They're in there, yeah. I mean, so they're still well in that battle for fourth, but they've got some teams around them that are, say, Newcastle. We think are overperforming. You've obviously got Brighton, Brentford, Fulham, with that sort of sitting in behind. Liverpool dropped off. We didn't think that would happen. Chelsea dropped way off. We didn't think that would happen, and they might still get top four. Top four. But I think people noted it after the Champions League. Went, what's the point apart from the financial benefit? Because they didn't really seem to give that second leg a go against AC Milan. And I think one of the big issues that the fans have is the game against Sheffield United, where they rested Harry Kane in the FA Cup. And they said, we are screaming for a trophy. That's what we want. Yes. And that was the game that they were like, just put your best side out there, and the rest we can kind of deal with. Yeah. And they didn't. So one of many things that hasn't quite gone wrong. So, I mean, you said you think he's definitely gone. Hayley, what happens next? Will he still be Tottenham manager by the time they've got a game when the internationals finish?
I think it'd be really stupid of them to get rid of him just before season finishes. Like, we have only got a few weeks left, so I think they will keep him just for keeping's sake, and then they'll say, right, that's it, done. Because realistically, are they going to do any better without a manager?
I mean, they're going to have to come up with some kind of plan, aren't they, for what the next stage is? And that you'd imagine those discussions have been happening over maybe the past few weeks. And I know the two key names that are being linked around, obviously, do you go back to Pochettino, Thomas Tuchel's out there, both of which are available now. But as you say, at this point in time, unless it I mean, I don't know how what the next level of this combustion is. Maybe I hope he stays in the season. If this is a weekly thing, then this is
I want
This
him
will have to
sing
be a weekly
forever.
segment on the pod.
If this is a weekly thing, we could have our own segment about his meltdowns on here. Honestly, I feel like he's me when Rochdale lose. That isn't my kind of meltdown. So, as you know, I have one every week, pretty much.
I can just imagine you at home after.
Yeah,
Come on, banging the table. What is this?
Laying into everyone.
So yeah, not looking good. Not
Oh.
looking good for Antonio Conte.
No.
I think
The thing is,
before
as well, like if they were to get, if they were going to get like anyone else, that's going to take a little bit of time anyway. It's going to be like end of season by the time they manage to get someone relatively permanent-ish, or even just temporary. Like I think it's just going to be a bit of a time waster, and it's going to cost them a lot of money.
It's going to cost them a lot of money. So Chris is saying he's in reports that he won't be sacked. As you said,
I cannot confirm or deny.
Season, difficult. I mean, where does he go? Where does he go next? I've always thought Serie A, Juventus, all of that's been, but that was prior to their big issues in terms of financial. But does he get another job in the Premier League after this?
He could go into acting.
Hiram Shah?
He could go into acting because it'd be absolutely epic.
He could actually, yeah.
I've just seen him on EastEnders.
Yeah. He could be the new nightclub owner, couldn't he? That sort of comes across. He's purchased a few venues in London, and he's the new gangster in the East End. Perfect.
He starts a new grassroots team. That's really annoyed every week.
Imagine how harsh he would be on the kids.
Dog and duck under fives. Here comes Antonio Conte. Oh, dear. He's absolutely classic. I mean, I will miss him if he goes now.
I know.
But you do have to ask the question with Tottenham and Daniel Levy and everything like that. This is now, we've had Pochettino and he brought them to a certain level. They've had Mourinho, they've had Conte. If they get Tuchel, or what's going to be different? What's going to be different?
I don't think
it'll do it though.
Yeah, I don't think it'll ever change with him in charge. I really don't think it'll ever change with him in charge because, like we've said, he's been in charge now for several years, and they've not won anything. Nothing's changed. You think of some of the players they've had, some of the managers and stuff, and still nothing's changed. So I think
big decisions in that squad coming up as well. The Harry Kane thing is a massive thing on its own. Son's dropped off to where he was.
Yeah.
The defence needs a hell of a lot of work as well, despite the masses of money that they spent. There's a lot to do there for whoever comes in. So it's probably going to need another war chest to do it. Although if they decided to cash in on Harry Kane perhaps this summer, then that does a certain amount of it. But it's a massive job, isn't it? Massive job.
I think he'll be at United, in the summer. I think he's a perfect fit for Manchester United. I really do, Harry Kane.
I wouldn't be surprised if Harry Kane does a disappearing act after that. I think, I can kind of feel like he's been a little bit frustrated for a little bit. But even more so now Conte's had his little blow up. He's probably thinking as captain, like, nah, after this I'm done. Because I can imagine for him as well, like having to hear that from your coach is a lot to take when you're essentially like, looking after the team and stuff like that as well. So I don't think he's going to last much longer there.
And if he wants to win trophies as well, obviously, I don't mean to be awful, but he's not going to win them at Tottenham. And how old is he now? Is he around my age? Is he 30, 31? I
think he's 31, 32, something like that.
So obviously, I don't want to say he's coming to the end of his career, but obviously he's at the back end, to be fair, now for a footballer. So if he wants to win trophies, I can't see him winning them at Spurs.
Yeah, because average age of retiring is like 36 or something now, isn't it? So
it will be interesting. So Chris mentions here, he's not. What about the old Saints manager, Hasenhüttl, wasn't it? It was the old Southampton manager. And he went from them a little while back. I liked Hasenhüttl, and I think he got a raw deal at the end of the Southampton. And I think that's proven since how well he'd actually done there with what he had. So I'd like to see Hasenhüttl get another try in the Premier League. But Tottenham and Levy, he's going to be looking at the Poches, and again, do you go back to Poch? Can you go back to Poch? Could you see Pochettino part 2? Tuchel's the obvious one, but again, these managers must be looking at this going, but what am I going to achieve?
The thing is, though, with Tuchel, I feel like he's quite vocal as well, like Conte. So I just think him and Levy will butt heads, because I think he's also very vocal. It's like obviously with the Ronaldo situation. I don't know how true it is, but obviously he didn't want Cristiano Ronaldo, and that's one of the main reasons people are saying he lost his job at Chelsea. Things like that, because he had a disagreement with them. And I just think if Conte is coming out and saying things like that and he's butting heads and he's voicing his opinion, I think Tuchel will be exactly the same. Not to that, pretty much, probably not to that level, what we've seen Conte this weekend. But if he gets frustrated as well, I can't see him just sitting there and taking it.
No, I think Levy likes it a bit as well. I think he likes it at first, and he likes to have that kind of feel he's got an animal working for him.
Yeah.
But I say you've still got the Kane situation, and now you're being called out, Shah, that Kane is 20. He's 29. 29.
Oh, is he? He's my age.
Damn.
There you go.
I'm so old.
I didn't know it.
My age. I thought it was my age. Then again, I'll pretend I'm 29.
There we go. I'm not playing the age game with you two.
I'm 29 in August, so. But I mean, I don't know who else could go up for manager. I'm not going to say any retired people because we know what happened last time.
Then again, Roy Hodgson's been linked with Crystal Palace. It wouldn't surprise me if Glenn Hoddle comes back.
I'm not saying anything. I brought Neil Warnock out retired.
Harry Redknapp.
Oh, please, let's do Harry Redknapp.
Harry would be class, just for one more transfer window. Give us one more transfer window, Harry,
because everyone
please.
else is coming out of retirement, might as well.
Harry Redknapp signed, and Jermaine Defoe and Nico Crancio are signed up within 24 hours with Peter Crouch on loan.
I just want to see Harry Redknapp out of his car window again.
I used to love that on deadline day when he'd interview him from his car.
So funny. So funny.
Give that guy a checkbook for one transfer window and just have a giggle. But so we'll move on from Tottenham to the other side.
You never know. I might see my curse.
You may well do, yeah. We'll move over to the other side of North London, as Tottenham fans might not want us to, but we have to touch on Arsenal, of course, because we'll touch on two topics here, because we've obviously got Arsenal, and obviously Crystal Palace have been quite a hot topic this week because of their own manager situation with Patrick Vieira getting the boot for them. But we'll start with Arsenal. Obviously had a difficult loss in the Europa League midweek. They went out of the Europa League, which could be a blessing, could be a curse, but it seemed to be they recovered quite quickly. Bukayo Saka on form. I had this one down as a banker even after the Europa League with where Palace have kind of been. Did you see a potential banana skin here after Europe for them?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I didn't see the Arsenal game. I did miss that one, but I reckon the confidence was probably knocked a little bit, to be honest with you. But they are still doing really well. So I think they probably just had a little bit of a blip and they just need to kind of go again. But the whole thing with Crystal Palace, can I just say, it was not very festive of them to sack Patrick Vieira on St. Patrick's Day.
It's just rude, isn't it? Just absolutely rude. All of the Patricks out there in the world.
I know. It was not festive at all.
It was absolutely disrespectful. And yeah, Crystal Palace, the Patrick Vieira one is an odd one. I've seen sort of both sides where people don't know, it's just been turgid, it's not good. But you look at the squad, you look at the run as well. I mean, they've not won this year, but if you look at the games that they've had, they've played everybody in that top half. I think Aston Villa are the only team they played in that bottom half, and some of which they got draws against. They had a couple of decent draws at home against good sides. So this is the period that actually they won these games in the reverse to give him that opportunity to do it. And he did a good job last season to get them to 12th from where they were. They just can't score goals. Crystal Palace just cannot score goals. That seems to be the big issue. Their defence has still been fairly resolute and not too bad. But, I mean, do you think Vieira deserved to go or harsh?
I was quite shocked, even though they were on a bad run. And I mentioned a few weeks ago that I thought they would get dragged in it as well because everyone around them were picking up points. That's the only thing I can kind of think why they have done it and they want to act upon it quick kind of thing. But at the same time, I don't know if something's gone on behind closed doors because as much as I thought they're getting dragged into it, I didn't expect for him to sack the manager because I think there's teams below them in worse positions. I think they've been unlucky because obviously Zaha's been injured. I think has he come back now?
He's just come back, yeah.
Yeah, he's
But
just come
Zaha's
back.
struggled to score as well. He hasn't
Yeah.
scored in 12, so everybody's just not performing.
I just feel in general, like the league at the minute, just they're all picking points off each other. You can't even pick now who's going down. We were saying, obviously, with Southampton and Bournemouth, they were no-brainers, but now they're picking up points. Everyone just seems to be picking up points. So it wasn't a massive shock, but at the same time it was, because I didn't think they would do that so soon. So they must have a plan. But obviously rumours are Roy Hodgson's coming back, but I don't see what he could possibly do, what Vieira couldn't. I don't mean
let the man retire. He's 75. Let him, he should be in Gran Canaria or something, enjoying time. He's like, last thing he needs to do is remind Wilfred Zaha how to try and score again, you know.
This pod is going to be the death of some people, I swear.
Yeah, it is.
We're bringing everyone out of a retirement home.
Back,
yeah.
you know, we'll be going through the graveyards next and trying to pull them all out of there. I mean, it's getting. There's a certain point you've got to say, let the man retire. He did well and gotten to a certain point, but can't be your go-to again and again and again. If he wants to do it, then, you know, fair enough, I suppose. But
yeah,
I get it.
The Crystal Palace as well. Like, it's one of the teams that I don't know why I just haven't heard much of them. Like, usually you get like a fair bit of buzz for everyone in the Premier League, but they're just one team that just seems to have slipped under the carpet a little bit. No one seems to be that bothered about them.
No, they're quiet, aren't they? And I think that's when Vieira was doing well. It didn't get the same push either. So it kind of is either side. So I think we're shocked when something's not quite right. When I looked today and said they haven't won this year, that surprised me. As you said, any other team, that would be everywhere. You would miss it. And you're kind of having to search for the stats for Palace a little bit to find out why things have happened. Are they in trouble?
I think so. I think you have to say yes, because the teams around them are picking up points also. I think from Crystal Palace downwards, all of them could possibly go down. And that's just because with the league, everyone's picking points off each other. Obviously, Everton have been picking up points now under Dyche. I think they've got Fulham next. And obviously, Mitrovic will be suspended. Willian will be suspended. So as much as I think Fulham have got the quality, I think it'll be two big losses. So Everton could potentially pick up points there. Southampton, as we've seen, and obviously their performances are getting better. Leeds, just everyone seems to now at the bottom be picking up points. So as much as I'd like to say Crystal Palace won't go down, I think it is obviously potential, because everybody at the bottom seems to be fighting for it now and picking points off each other, picking points off the top teams. So I think it is a possibility, 100%.
They're definitely fighting. They're all fighting for their lives. There's no easy games down there at the bottom. So Crystal Palace very rarely get any coverage on SSN.
That's true. That is true, to be fair.
And this is ultimate Harry Redknapp disrespect, isn't it? Steve Parish doing the interview from his car window. I mean, you know, he's got copyright over that. Surely that's not on. You can't be doing that.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
I think I'm really not sure about Crystal Palace, because like I said, they're not really getting much attention. So even if they do, and is it really going to be? You know, Sky Sports haven't really done it, like even BBC Sport haven't really covered much on it apart from his sacking the other day. Like, there's not really been much on them. So I feel like they're in water, shall we say, if they don't start turning things around. But with us only having a few weeks left, I don't think they're necessarily going to go down unless they literally lose every single fixture they've got.
And they have got the teams around them now, haven't they? I think, as I said, they've played a lot of the top ones, so it's now the games that they can. And maybe they get the Roy Hodgson manager bounce, if it's him or whoever it is, to maybe get them that. They just need to start scoring goals.
I was going to say that's my worry. Goals. That is my worry for scoring goals, because all the teams below them, even your Bournemouths and obviously your Leeds, they're all scoring. It's like we've seen against obviously Southampton recently, they've been scoring as well. So that's the only problem, because with Crystal Palace, they've not been scoring a lot of goals, and they're not a team really that do score a lot of goals. So that is my worry. That
is a worry. And I think Anderson went off, one of their better centre-backs went off again at the weekend as well. So their defence has now taken a hit, and you've got to be scoring goals down there, because it gets a bit scrappy, doesn't it? You'll get tight games down there, but then you'll also get games where all hell breaks loose, and it'll be another double desi. There was a double desi this week, and we will come to that later, but you'll get the kind of double desi type results with goals everywhere. And talking of goals everywhere, we'll stay down the bottom. We spoke about Leeds. 6 goals between Wolves and Leeds this weekend. 2 sendings off as well. Excitement all over the place. I mean, sometimes the relegation battles are better than the top games. Actually,
It really are.
Yeah. I've always
go for it.
I've always said, like, the lower side of the table is always the most exciting, in my opinion. But
it's just
anyway,
it's so it's so tight down there. I think, as Chris says, 4 points, and we'll show the table shortly. 4 points and 12 to bottom. I mean, it'd be epic to go into that final day with 6 or 7 teams or something all battling. Because normally by this stage of the season, there's someone adrift, isn't there? There's a Norwich or a Watford. I think last season Norwich and Watford were already gone, but this season, bottom to 12 is, and maybe by the time we get a few weeks down the line, someone will start to dip away. But at the minute, it's multiple changing. And say Wolves have been picking up. They've been better. They've been playing quite good football recently since Lopetegui's in. He's changed that midfield. He's changed the way they play. And Leeds come and pumped 4 past them. I know sending off in the second half helped a bit, but fantastic game. Some fantastic goals. Did anybody catch the Johnny goal? The long range.
Yes.
Belter.
Yes.
Fantastic hit.
I was working,
Johnny.
and when I'm working, I have the scores on one of the TVs above my seat, and I remember going to the guy who was driving the desk at work. I remember pressing the button, going, "Oh my God, Leeds are winning!" And he went, "What?" And I went, "Yeah," and it was just because I didn't expect it, because they've not had a very good season at all, either.
No.
It's like.
They're another one, I think, good attacking players, but they concede. Leeds have always conceded far too many since they've come up. And I thought, Wolves have got it together a little bit. So that one surprised me a bit. I thought Wolves might shut Leeds out a tad, but this is just the bottom. It's becoming even more unpredictable at the moment. So, sad news for Shah. Dawson was taken off at half time. There you go. Craigie Dawson.
That's why he didn't win.
That's what
why
happened.
Wolves didn't win.
That's what happened.
Dawson.
Valon Dawson. And so the result of that game means that a team that didn't play this weekend, West Ham, have snuck into the bottom 3. West Ham have snuck into the bottom 3. Absolutely on fire in the Europa Conference League. Made Europe last season were playing, and just down in 18th. I mean, could West Ham go down, Hayley? Could West Ham go down?
I think they could, to be honest with you. If you'd asked me a few weeks ago, I probably would have said no. But given that they just keep having bad result after bad result, like even a draw, I don't think can really save them much at this point. They need to be winning, not drawing or losing. It's just like, I don't know with the manager situation as well. I genuinely thought he was going to go, but he's still there. So
he's still on, and I think he's another one, I guess, a payoff, and they're going to probably stick with. I don't know. I mean, interestingly enough, we've got a special guest episode we're doing tomorrow night. Josh and I are recording with Russ Budden of West Ham Network tomorrow to talk all about West Ham. So one of the questions we will be asking is, what's going on with David Moyes? That's one of the ones. And the other one is one that Shah's asked is, what do you think of Craig Dawson, of course? So we've got our 2 major questions for tomorrow, and the rest we'll work it out.
Do you know what, with West Ham, though? I do kind of worry for West Ham. And I mentioned it, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, obviously, a massive loss losing Mark Noble, and obviously the dressing room, he's been there for years, great captain, but obviously they lost the chairman, obviously he passed away, so you think what effect that could have on the players and everyone around him. Obviously, players aren't performing to the full potential, obviously Bowen, Antonio, obviously Declan Rice, but you can't just pin it all on Declan Rice, because it's not just about one player at the end of the day. They're all struggling. Craig Dawson's obviously gone to Wolves, and as much as people were unsure about him at the end, before obviously he started playing and stuff, he was a great signing for him. He was a player that had put his all into it. So I think with West Ham, as much as it is the football on the pitch, I think obviously off the pitch as well, they have got a lot going on. And like I mentioned, the chairman passing away, and obviously Mark Noble not being there now, I think that's a bigger loss than obviously they anticipated, because at the end of the day, he's been there all his career, hasn't he, Mark Noble? He is Mr. West Ham. So obviously that must be a massive loss and effect on the rest of the players, not having him there and his guidance and leadership. So I think that could possibly have had a bit of an impact on them.
Yeah.
It certainly has. And I think, like you said, that you look at some of those players, and I've always looked at West Ham's squad, and it's one of those you go to a certain point in the season, it's too good to go down. There's too many
Yeah,
players in there
definitely.
that are going to pull them out of it. They only need one or two of those. You said Bowen was brilliant last season. Ben Rama can turn it on occasion.
Yeah.
You even look at their attacking. So I think Chris just touched on it there in terms of better options than Palace and Saints. And they've got Antonio who can still score goals. He's getting on a bit now and does you a job. Danny Ings, keep Danny Ings fit. He scores goals.
Yeah.
And this Scamacha, we've seen nothing of him really. He doesn't seem to be able to be fit. They don't trust him for whatever reason. He's sort of disappeared out. But then Declan Rice in midfield, Thomas Souček's a good player.
He's completely, this season, Souček, you hear nothing about him, do you? Last season he was scoring goals and stuff, but this season he's just, you don't hear anything about him at all.
They just keep dropping points, and they've got themselves in there. And so there's only a certain point that you go, they're too good to stay up before you realise there's not that many games left. And well, maybe they're not. And in which case, my word, there's going to be a summer sale at West Ham if that's the case. But
yeah, I mean, wasn't there rumours that like Declan Rice was going to go elsewhere as well? Like, there was loads of that circling around not long ago. I mean, I quite like Declan Rice. I think he's a good player. He did a bit for England and stuff like that as well. There's only one thing I don't like about him, and to be honest, it's a little bit petty. Did anyone see the Muller Rice advert that he did with him?
No.
Well, he got a sponsorship with Muller Rice, right? And everyone used to call me Muller Rice, and I'm really annoyed because he's got a sponsorship deal out of it, and I haven't. So that's just me being petty, right? Because I've been called Muller Rice for ages. And he's come swanning in, and he's got it.
He wanders into the England team, into the West Ham Galaxy, and steals. Exactly. What the sponsorship deal in the world? Leave Muller Rice alone.
Do you know what I've just thought as well? Does Lanzini still play for West Ham?
Lanzini's still there.
Does he still play for them? Because I remember he was quality a few seasons ago, and he I don't know if he's injured or he's just completely gone like off the radar, but he was quality.
I think he's played quite a few. I think 20 odd games. I think he's played this season. But whether, as you said, I think say they're playing Thursday, Sunday games. Chris says it here that whether that's affected the games that he's picking them to play for. There's too much rotation. I really don't know. So that's what I'm really interested in tomorrow's episode, to get the inside, to go what's going on, because from the outside it's very weird to see, looking at all those parts and just thinking clearly it's not working and things that are not right. So you've got Lanzini, you've got they've got Fabianski sitting goal, still a decent keeper, and is it Areola that they got off Paris Saint-Germain as well? He's a good keeper coming in. Zuma at centre back. They've got the Moroccan guy Aguirre come in as well. That he was, because he was injured for a portion of the season. He's all these players that they've got in there. You just think there must be a better way when you compare it to the squads of, with no disrespect to Bournemouth, to Southampton, even Palace. It should be up and around. You would expect them to be fighting with the Brentfords and the Brightons really on that job,
100%.
but they're miles apart in terms of quality. Miles apart. So we shall see. West Ham, will they go down? Crystal Palace, will they go down? Lots of teams. One team that will be happy because they got a point this week are Everton. The Sean Dyche revolution is well and truly underway as they snatched a late equaliser against Chelsea this weekend. Just as we thought Chelsea would turn in the corner with wins, they've been pulled back again and they've dropped 2 more points. Do we feel more confident now about Everton with their safety?
I think they're definitely in a better position now than they were a couple of months ago. I think Dyche has had a really, really good positive effect on them, because I genuinely thought that Everton were going to go down. I said it God knows how many times on different pods at the beginning of the season, and right up until the World Cup, I said Everton are going down. I might be wrong, and I'll happily have them prove me wrong if Dyche is in charge, because I think he's a genuinely really good manager.
I think he's steadied the ship. I thought with Dyche, home victories all the way, and then if they can pick up the odd point here, then they'll be then they'll be on a winner. Because again, they're the team that needs some things, that are missing some stuff, and it's nice to see. Say Elliot Sims was the guy who came on and scored for them late on. It's nice to see the lesser known players, we say, apart from maybe if you're more sort of club followers, to come and do a job for you and to get a point. So fantastic for Everton. And Chelsea, just they get a result. just don't get a result. I think we said it on the pod last week. You still get the sense they might win the Champions League because that's just how bonkers Chelsea are when they're in these kind of situations. They'll be terrible in the league and then they'll go and beat Real Madrid and Manchester City or something ridiculous, and we'll all be going, oh, here we go. They're on for another European trophy with a poor league season. But I think Potter's steadied the ship still, and this is a little blip, but it's not terrible, is it, compared to where it was a few weeks ago?
A little bit. I think he's turned a corner slightly. But I think what everyone's going to remember is not every team is going to win every single game. Like, there is going to be little blips, and especially if he's come out a bit of a rough patch with it. It's normal to have a couple of fixtures where he's winning and then just have maybe a draw or a loss. Like, it's not the end of the world. And to be fair, they're not doing terrible.
Yeah, last couple of results have been better, haven't they? I suppose the problem is the blips, as you said, if they've been in poor form, the blips on the top of having a really bad run, then that's the issue, isn't it? If you've had quite a few. But so they did have, they had a week of kind of good wings, and they do look a different outfit. João Felix looks like he's kind of clicked in. I mean, Chelsea Shard, could you see a late run for a European spot, or do you think that 10th, 9th, 8th is as best as they're going to get?
I can't see it, and I just think it's because some of the other teams around them are obviously getting points, and the performances are a bit better. Obviously, you've even got your Brightons, your Brentford as well. You can't write them off now. Newcastle, but I just think with Chelsea, I don't understand them. It's like spending so much money on certain players, like in January, and not playing them. Is it Mudryk? Is it?
Mudryk, yeah.
I don't get it, and obviously. With Chelsea, I can't call it as well, whether it's Graham Potter who's picking it, whether it's choices from Graham Potter or whether it's from the hierarchy upstairs that are obviously calling these decisions. I just with Chelsea, I can't call it. I really can't. They're a very weird team, but I personally don't think most of these are Graham Potter signings and Graham Potter's obviously influence on them. I think it is coming from upstairs.
Yeah, I agree there, because I think Graham Potter had a really big influence in Brighton, and you could tell because of the relationship he had with the players and how they were with each other on and off the pitch. Whereas here in Chelsea, it's a completely different dynamic. You can just tell. It's not. Yes, he might have had some little bits of input here and there, but they probably would have been like, "We're going to sign this player." It would be like, "Well, I'm not sure." It'd be like, "Well, we're doing it anyway." I feel like that's how the conversation's gone.
There's a disconnect there, isn't there? And that, if there's a disconnect now, that's only going to continue to get worse, I think. And particularly if, I think Chris has said now, Potter seems to be finding a way. He's moved to playing 3 at the back with him, trying to find the right tactic with the team. I think the big issue is don't go silly again in the summer. Let him work with what he's got. For Chelsea to go out and spend another 250 million on, okay, they need a striker, clearly. But beyond that, don't go and buy another 10 players, because then he's got to start all over again. You've got to let this be the start of the process. If you're going to believe that Potter's the answer, they've got to give him some room to work with the players he's got, I think.
I still can't believe how much they spent in the January transfer window. It was honestly ridiculous. They just need to calm it down for this next transfer window and actually just be careful and articulate about it. Because if they are, they'll get off to a decent start next season.
You'd hope so. This is Chelsea, though.
I'm trying to be positive.
I think there'll be a lot of outgoings as well with Chelsea, obviously in the summer. Yeah. Obviously, Mason Mount's been linked to Manchester United. He's been linked with Liverpool. I think, obviously, is Aubameyang still there?
Aubameyang's still there.
I think he'll leave. I can't see him coming back. I think there'll be several of them. Thiago Silva, was he linked with leaving as well? I'm not 100% sure. So, or has he just signed a new deal? It was one of the two. I can't remember.
I think he signed a deal. I think he's got another year. I think.
Yeah, but I just think there will be a lot of outgoing. So I think Chelsea, obviously, I think some of it will spend more money, but potentially a lot of them will go as well elsewhere.
Yeah, I think you're right. It'd be, again, Chelsea always want to watch the transfer in that, and they've got 700 people on loan as well, probably as well, that will come back.
It's like Loftus-Cheek. I can't see Loftus-Cheek really staying and being part of that team when you've got money being spent and thrown around and stuff. I can't really see it. I think potentially the only ones, English as well, that we will see is obviously Reece James, obviously Chilwell. I think them two will obviously keep their spot. obviously depending on them being fit, and potentially Sterling. It's like with Sterling, I don't know with him as well, because obviously
I'm not sure with
Sterling.
Sterling.
Players, yeah.
Yeah, I think Sterling's on the
He's been
decline.
unhappy for a while.
Yeah,
he's been on.
I think you even look at the England team now, and you think Sterling was a sure in 18 months ago, and now fourth, fifth choice behind.
Exactly.
You've got Saka, Rashford,
Yeah.
Grealish, Foden, and he's not even in the conversation at the moment. So we shall see.
The best season, I don't think, Sterling.
No, Chelsea's window will be an interesting one to watch, but where they end up will be interesting. And we'll have a little look at the table. Hopefully you can see that, because I've had to sneak a picture of this in here. Well, obviously we had two more games we didn't cover. Aston Villa were 3-0 victors over Bournemouth. That puts Bournemouth bang in trouble after an excellent result against Liverpool. They then take a bit of a blip. And Brentford won, Leicester won was the other result. And Leicester are another one that are still sneaking around this area. Similar with kind of West Ham, I think. You look at those two teams and go, the squads should be better, but it's not happening. It's not happening. Leicester, for me, seen a team that they've got a lot of players that want out. Of players that want out. They've got contracts ending. They're kind of transitioning themselves. They've got David Luiz 2.0 at centre-back in that Welsh face bloke. I mean, he's an utter disaster. There's a lot of work to be done at Leicester. Brendan Rodgers continues to defy Shah and will manage at Leicester until his dying day. That's just how it's going to work. But I think we spotted earlier, I mean, this difference between 27 points Crystal Palace, 23 points Southampton, 2 games.
That's mad.
So difficult not to be reactionary as a football fan anyway on week to week, but just with the way that table is going to jump around over the next 9 games,
it's going to be insane.
Utterly bonkers. And so, but you look form-wise, Leicester and Palace are by far the worst.
Yes.
Forest not far behind them.
Definitely.
But they're all picking up the odd win here or there. So, they've all kind of got one each, apart from Leeds and Bournemouth that have got 2 recently, and everybody else is kind of struggling. So there we go. So that's the Premier League. But obviously, we don't just cover the Premier League. We cover all of the other wonderful leagues that we have. If I can get this to go over to the next page. And there we are. We have, this looks like the Championship, which is where Hayley is going to take us through the wonders of the Championship.
Oh, yes. I mean, I think, Char, you'll agree with me. Lower league is better. Lower league is so much better.
Apart from when you're in the relegation.
We won't go to that bit. Championship, Burnley are flying. Sheffield United are actually to say they've not had the best run at the minute. Sheffield United are in a pretty comfortable spot, I think. I think they're all right. And the FA Cup this weekend, which I'm sure we'll cover shortly, was insane. But we'll have to wait and see on that, obviously, because of the FA Cup, where they didn't have a proper fixture this weekend. So, and I don't think they've got one next week because of international break. So, yeah. But
is there any truth to, because there's been some rumours of financial issues with Sheffield United with pitches? Is there any truth to that, or is that?
So we're not really sure what's going on. We've not been made aware of any concrete. We think it's just rumour, and I think it's safe to say it's just rumour for now. And we can't really say that it is without any solid proof. We don't know where it's come from, and I'm sure if there is any fruition to it, like my team, for sure, Sheffield, I'm sure we'll explore it. But as far as we're concerned, there's no real element to it at the moment. It's just we can't really speculate until we've got visible proof in front of us, because it's such a diverse accusation that's going around. It's unreal. So yeah, we're not really sure what's going on at the moment. Right, when you brought it up the other week, or was it Josh? It was Josh, wasn't it? Yeah.
Josh finds things from the depth of the internet. His rumour reveal.
Don't believe everything you read on the internet. But yeah, it's just a bit of a weird one. So to be honest, not a clue. If I find out, I will let you know. But yes, Middlesbrough flying. Luton, much to my disgust, are doing all right. Blackburn Rovers are doing okay, despite losing to Sheffield. No bias from me there whatsoever. Coventry are doing okay. Now at the bottom, Wigan and Huddersfield, 100%. Yeah, you know what? All 3 of them definitely, I think, are probably gone.
I think I've seen something today as well on Twitter that they're possibly going to have 3 points deducted from them Wigan. I don't know what it's about. I've not read up on it. But apparently 3 points, deduction.
Yeah, I've seen something about that. I don't know
Yeah.
the full story yet, and we don't know exactly what it's for. I say that I've probably got an email sat because I finished at 2 o'clock, and I bet it's coming after I finish work. So I bet I've got an email sat explaining it. But I will have a look into that, and I will let you both know tomorrow when I'm back at work if that comes of anything. But yeah, everything really like.
There's a few being dragged into it though, isn't it? I mean, look, Reading's form's awful.
Cardiff as well.
Yeah,
Cardiff there,
terrible.
QPR.
They were in the Premier League not that long ago as well, Cardiff.
Well,
I think to myself, and look at them now. The decline.
Cardiff. Speaking of Cardiff and Rotherham, they didn't even get to play properly this weekend. And their match was abandoned due to a flooded pitch. So I was actually working and I could hear, because obviously I had all the speakers on in the ops studio and stuff like that, and all I could hear was booing. All I could hear. But Paul Heckingbottom's doing a brilliant job of shit. Yeah, to be fair, I don't mind Pecky. I think he's all right. A few people aren't that bothered, but I think it's a very even split on Heckingbottom, I think. But yeah, going back to Rotherham and Cardiff, they'll have to obviously replay that.
Was there some cheeky clips going around, wasn't there, of the old Rotherham groundsman who was pushing the water off the pitch and then pulling it back onto the pitch? I don't know. Was that after because Cardiff were 1-0 up?
I don't think that was actually on purpose. I think that was just them being a bit daft.
That was just some naff brooming. Yeah, I'll broom the water off and then we'll broom it back on.
I actually think that if it was my boss that actually tweeted that video, because he was taking videos of the pitch of what was going on. So I don't know. But yeah, it was just surreal, and I actually put the tweet out for Football Heaven saying it had been abandoned. I was sat there waiting, going, "Come on," because we do something called Praise or Grumble on Football Heaven, and Rob, who is my boss, he was like, he was presenting it, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's been like 45 minutes. Praise or Grumble's in 5. He's presenting it. Please just call it off. I can't do this." I was stressed. It was my first time producing by myself. And then all of a sudden I just heard the tannoy, and I just heard cheering. I was like, "It's gone, it's gone." And I just heard, "Oh, yeah, it's been abandoned." Put a tweet out, and I was like, "It's gone, it's gone." I've never felt such relief in my life. But it took 47 minutes for them to announce that it had been abandoned. That was ridiculous. Like, that shouldn't have gone on so long. The comments that I saw on Twitter was, especially under Cardiff City's announcement, was unreal, to be honest. This is the club I used to work at. I used to work at Rotherham. I was, oh, God.
Oh, not ideal for either of those. But say
No.
that's going to put even more needle on that clash when it comes back around as well, I would imagine, particularly with it looking like a relegation crucial fixture.
And Taylor as well. He seems all right. He seems a decent manager, but he's just not doing very well with him at the minute. So I don't know how long he could be there. I don't know. I reckon he's probably got maybe another half a season in him, if that. Because it's only so long and go on. Because they've dipped quite a bit. Because they were at the top end when Paul Warne left, but now it just seems to getting lower and lower and lower. And I think they're very much in the danger zone here.
It has just snuck down for them. So we will keep an eye, as always we do, on the Championship. But let's have a little look at League One. League One is up next. What do we know about League One, Hayley?
Well, Sheffield Wednesday have got a run of 23 games unbeaten, and I think that's a record. Ooh. So it's insane, the season that they are having. I would be very surprised if they did not go up automatically, although there is only 1 point difference between them and Plymouth. So we'll have to wait and see on that one, but I reckon there'll be one of the two that go up automatically. 100%. Wickham are doing all right. It's a bit of a mixed bag, but they've done okay recently. Going down to the bottom, Forest Green, they are out 100%. Look at the top points compared to the bottom, 78 over 23. There's no coming back from that. Cambridge is 7 points clear of them, even though they're probably going down as well. So, other than that, yeah, like not really many.
It's clearly a top and a bottom because you look at the form of clear wins at the top, lots of losses near the bottom, teams that are dropping into it. Oxford were quite good, I thought, weren't they? A little while back. They've dropped well off.
Do you know about Forest Green as well? Just to add on it as well, what I thought were really good. Charlie Savage, obviously Robbie Savage's son, he turned down going to international duty so we could concentrate on helping Forest Green. And you think how far down Forest Green are, and if you're a betting man or woman, you'd put money on them to go down, wouldn't you? But I just think it's so lovely that he's chose to do that and try and like help them out and go on away to international duty, and obviously they lose him then. So I thought that were really good.
That's good in a minute to try and pull them out of it. But as you say, I think it's not looking good, is it? 71 goals conceded is not going to help you.
Makes us look great.
Barnsley are having a really, really good season. Really good season. I really rate Michael Duff.
Yes.
Yeah, Chris. I love Michael Duff. He's so funny and down to earth as well. I don't know if you've seen the videos I've been putting on social media. He reenacted a scene from Kes with the actual guy that played Kes. If you haven't seen it, go on Barnsley's social media. It's so funny. It's brilliant. He just proper gets into character. But yeah, he's also I think he's a very likeable and very charismatic manager, Michael Duff. I've got a lot of time for him. I enjoy clipping his post-match interviews. They've actually got Sheffield Wednesday this week, I think, so that'll be a very interesting derby. It might be tomorrow. It's tomorrow, Wednesday, I think. And I'm actually a little bit gutted I'm not working that one because that would be a spicy game, that one.
It's going to be interesting. And so you've also got Ipswich up there as well. They've only lost 4. It's the draws that are killing Ipswich, isn't it? I mean, 4 losses only. But 12.
Derby County's doing a bit better now. Like when Paul Warren went there, he started off on a high, then it dipped, and then he seems to have slowly come back up again. So I think he might have just dug them out.
And Bolton as well. Bolton seem to be going off a bit though, don't they? Because they were doing really well at one point. They seem to be struggling a bit the last few games.
Yeah, I don't know what's gone on with Bolton. Like, I think they were doing actually a lot better than I expected them to this season. But they do seem to have dipped a little bit. But I don't know. Like, I feel like some clubs like get towards the end of season curse, and I feel like they're one of them. Like, they just seem to get a little bit like blah. It's nearly the end.
Ready for their holidays.
We're safe. What's the point in bothering? Like, you know what I mean? I feel like some of them get like that. And I feel like that's maybe where Bolton are going.
That's why I'm so shocked with Ipswich as well, because every season Ipswich manage to mess it up no matter what.
Although to be fair, if I were Bolton, I think I brought this up like a little while ago, but like if my stadium had been renamed Tough Sheet Stadium, I think I wouldn't play very well either. I dread the day I have to say that in a broadcast because if you say it too fast, woof, of course I'm going to be on my arse. So
that's true. Chris has also commented, Bolton have got they're on the way to Wembley for Papa John's, the Papa John's trophy, so they have a trophy to play for as well.
That is true.
It's better than now, isn't it?
It's better than now, exactly. Papa John's is better than now. That's what I say. And now we move over to the League Two, to League Two, and ignore the table because we had something amazing that happened, not just in a League Two game, Charlotte, but in a Rochdale game. Please tell the lovely people what happened.
We had a double Desi, not just a Desi. Our mascot is Desi as well, Desmond the Dragon. But we had a double Desi. Rochdale, as much as they bottom, and we needed the win. To be fair, Swindon fans are on a Swindon podcast on Friday as well, and they were arguing that they also needed a win for any contention in the playoffs. I was adamant, no, we need 3 points more. Look at us. And as much as it was so frustrating because we came back, obviously, from 2-0 down, then we were 3-2 in the lead, and then obviously we were losing and then you get it back. And as much as it's frustrating, what a game. It was just like edge of end of your seats, nail biting. It was just so entertaining. And I think in the end, it kind of shown the quality of Charlie Austin and just how some of Jim Bentley's decisions, like He had Banks Landell, obviously marking Charlie Austin, who's not the greatest defender for us, and he does struggle. So I think that's where Jim Bentley's kind of tactics and stuff lacked a little bit, because obviously on Charlie Austin you need at least a couple of defenders, if not one of your best defenders. So I think the quality and class from Charlie Austin kind of, if we didn't have them, I think we would definitely win if he wasn't playing for them. But you can't complain. Obviously we've scored 4. It's not great conceding 4 goals, but we're playing a hell of a lot better than we were. I know, the double dizzy.
The double dizzy.
Yeah, we're playing a hell of a lot better than we were. And we're actually showing some fight now. We are showing some passion. But yet again, it's just simple mistakes that we're making, like not marking a man, like not tracking back. It's like defending set pieces. It's just simple mistakes that have cost us all season. And yeah, it's frustrating, but I don't know if any of you have seen it as well. And if not, I will tag you in it after this. But Danny Lloyd, the second goal for us, it was an absolute rocket. It was a quality goal, absolute quality goal. But yeah, obviously we're still bottom on 26 points, still a 5-point gap, but we're playing better. If we get relegated, but we at least show some fight and the performances that we're doing at the minute, I'll take that. Hartlepool are just above us, and they've unfortunately got into the relegation zone. They're 23rd on 31 points. They played Bradford and managed to get a 2-2 draw, but frustrating times for Hartlepool because they were winning. But great result for us that Bradford managed to obviously equalise. Crawley are just above them. They were in relegation with us, and a few weeks ago we were all going on about Crawley because they've had some like difficulties off the pitch as well, and they were kind of on the free fall. We didn't know when they'd get the next points and stuff, but they seem to be putting a run together now. And obviously they beat Wimbledon, so they're out of relegation at the minute. But yeah, that's the bottom. At the top, we've got Leyton Orient still at the top, despite
Richie Wellens. Wellens is really well with them. I didn't think he'd do bad.
Yeah,
I didn't think he'd do this good with them. He's doing really, really well with them.
Yeah, he's a good manager. Despite obviously they only drew against Colchester, but they're on 73 points. Sorry, so 5 points clear. It does look like it's Leyton Orient to obviously lose kind of thing. I think they'll go on to win it. It's up to them now. I don't think they will lose it because they seem to be quite a consistent team this season. Stevenage in second place, 67 points. They drew 0-0 at Carlisle, who have now dropped obviously out of the top 3 and they've gone into the playoffs. They've got the 4th spot. Northampton in 3rd place on 66 points. They won 1-0 at home to Crewe. And then the other playoff spots is obviously in 5th place, we've got Stockport on 60 points. They drew 1-1 at home to Mansfield. Bradford on 60 points. They drew 2-2 against strugglers Hartlepool, as I mentioned. And 7th spot is obviously Salford, 59 points. And unfortunately, sorry, Hayley, they thumped Doncaster at home. And I just feel
I don't want to talk about it.
They're on a really bad run, aren't they, at the minute, Doncaster?
Oh, don't get me started. Do not get me started. I was like to say, I was working when that game was on, and like I was like, they scored, Salford scored, and I was like, oh, here we go again. And then seconds later, Donny climbed one back, and I was like, yes, finally, they're working, they're doing it. And I'm just, I don't know what's going on. They had a really good run for like a good 4, 5, 6 matches, and now we just seem to have dipped again. And I don't know what's going on. And I can't not support them because they're my home team, but they're really testing my patience in a minute. And not only that, I don't know if I've just put myself. I'm in Salford right now. So yeah, a 3-1 win. I was just like, I have to listen to the commentary because I clip the goals on a Saturday at work as well, and I was just kind of like, this is depressing. I hate this. I love it, but when it comes to Doncaster losing, I just like, nah, this is no fun. That's all I have to say on the matter.
Well, they get their mid-table, I suppose. Still dropping off of the playoffs, isn't it? But
yeah, I mean, if we say mid, That's better than being in the bottom for me. Like, I'd rather be safe and then try again next season, and at least try and get out of League Two next season, because it's not going to happen this season, and just get back to where they were. Because I think when I was working for them a few years ago, I think we got relegated into League Two and then managed to get back up since then. They've gone back down. So they are capable. They just need to crack the whip a little bit.
Need to step up, sort it out. So Doncaster, you've been told, sort it out.
Yeah, from the Queen of Doncaster, if I say so myself.
There you go. Right, so we do have some European leagues, and I will bring it up in a second. I've just got to do some frigging about because I've got my notes as well. Because we have Josh normally does Bundesliga, and Lucas normally does Serie A. So I'm going to attempt the Bundesliga, and Charlotte is going to attempt Serie A with her best Italian accent, getting ready for us. Let me just stick this back on, and then we
put on your best Conte.
Imagine.
super
I want the sound effects and everything.
Sound effects. Well, before we go to Italy, I'm going to start us off with Germany. Now, Germany was quite exciting this week in the Bundesliga because Bayern Munich lost. Bayern Munich lost to Bayer Leverkusen 2-1. And Borussia Dortmund won 6-1. So they have leapfrogged over Bayern Munich. Very interesting game against Josh will be very pleased because it was Xabi Alonso Leverkusen with 2 penalties, both of which were overturned by VAR. They were dives. Gave a booking for a dive and then overturned and went, nah, actually, that's a penalty. Probably just because he, like the rest of us, is fed up of Bayern Munich winning the league every year. So let's make this spicy. So Bayern Munich lost. It's Paul Borussia Dortmund up top. Union Berlin, who we've obviously been following quite closely, they picked up a victory as well this weekend. They beat Eintracht Frankfurt, so they've closed the gap a little bit. So those dreams are not dead. RB Leipzig, they had a hangover after being Erling Haalanded in the middle of the week. They got done again this weekend. Josh was actually there. He saw it. He witnessed it firsthand, and he can say, yes, Erling Haaland is a beast. And he did survive. He did survive his trip to Manchester City without Pep Guardiola getting his hands on him. So he's very pleased about that. At the bottom, yes, nice. We will be seeing him again soon. At the bottom, Schalke. Schalke scored a last gasp equaliser. They're still in the bottom 2, but they've gone on a tremendous run considering they're in the bottom 2 of 8 matches unbeaten. So they'll have some hope that they can yet get out of it. And Hoffenheim jumped over Hertha Berlin into 15th place. And we're going to go to Italy, Sean. You may notice I have an Italian top today. Thank you to the guys at Talking Kit podcast, actually, who sent this to me, which was very lovely of them. So I said to them, I will wear this on the pod. And it's very nice. It's like old school. We've got Lotto, we've got Kia. It's very nice. So, I'm now following Udinese. So, and I think I picked a good week, didn't I, Charlotte, for Udinese? I was very pleased with the result they had this weekend.
I know.
Tell us about the Italian league.
Mamma mia. So yeah.
Is that politically correct anymore?
So yeah, we'll start off at the top, and I've said this all along. These are my favourites for obviously the Champions League because I just think they're doing so well in the league. They don't really have to concentrate because they're so far ahead. So they are my favourites for the Champions League trophy. So we have got Napoli in first position. They're on 71 points, 19 points clear at the top after their win away against Torino. They beat them 4-0. So, yeah, a bit of a thumping. Still carrying on a good run. Second place, we've got Lazio. Sorry, my northern accent. I'm really doing the foreign teams because I'm so northern.
It adds a bit of flair to it, Shard.
I know.
Lazio.
Lazio. I'm 52 points.
Char's been to the Super Mario film.
I look like Super Mario with my hat on. Yeah, they beat Jose Mourinho's. He is at Roma still, isn't he?
Just about, yeah.
They beat Jose Mourinho's Roma 1-0. There was 3 red cards in that match as well. We've not obviously got onto the FA Cup yet, but very similar to a certain game we saw on Sunday, 3 red cards. Yeah. In third place, we've got Inter. They are third on 50 points, but they did lose 1-0 at home to Juve, who sit in 7th spot. Fourth place, we've got AC Milan. They lost 3-1 against... Who's that?
Udinese.
Despite Zlatan Ibrahimovic penalty, and they are still on 48 points. Roma, as we mentioned, in 5th spot. In 6th place, we've got Atalanta. They're on 45 points. They won 2-1 at home to, is it Empoli?
Empoli, yep, Empoli.
And there's no change at the bottom. In the bottom spot, how do we pronounce it again, Sam?
Cremonese.
I don't know what I would have said, so I'm glad you know. I was going to go Cremonese really confidently.
They're on 13 points. They managed to draw, though. So it's a good point for them, but obviously it's not made a difference, unfortunately. They're still on 13 points. And 19th, we've got Sampdoria.
Sampdoria, yeah.
I need to do an Italian accent. Sampdoria. On 50, all the Italians are going to be coming at me after. I'm sorry. 15 points. They beat 18th place. Verona. It were just above them on 19 points at home, 3-1. So it's a great result for them. And they've obviously brought it back a bit. So they're only 4 points behind them now. So, yeah. I don't think I've took Lucas's spot. I think he's the main man for this, but
so,
I tried, Lucas, so I hope I didn't.
So, Lucas, you need to work on your Italian pronunciation next week. There you go.
You have to look like Luigi because I'm Mario.
Yeah, he's got to put a green hat on.
And I'm going to move over to La Liga. And it was El Clasico weekend. Of course, It was El Clasico weekend. It was a huge weekend for the title. Because Barcelona picked up the victory in the end, 2-1 in a very interesting game. It was 1-1, tactical kind of first hour, I think, and then it kind of all went a bit bonkers towards the end. Real Madrid had a VAR call against them, and it was very late on that Barcelona picked up the win. Frank Kessie with a tap in late on, but I think a lot of it was Ancelotti was having to get. Madrid needed the win, looking at that points difference.
Yeah,
so he kind of made a few attacking. I think Carvajal in particular was getting caught where he had to kind of bomb on down, and that's where they got caught in the end for the goal. So Madrid will be disappointed, and they kind of almost moved Spain into the done column. Do you think? Because Barcelona have been so good, 2 draws, 2 losses, they only conceded 9 goals. It's very difficult, I think, to predict and see that there could be a collapse there.
It frustrates me though, because obviously we're hearing all these stories about them cheating, obviously paying the refs and doing all this, and look at them up there.
Yeah, exactly. And then in El Clasico, they get a massive VAR call.
I know.
Questionable, but yeah, I think as Chris just said, there was a very good goal, very good game from all accounts. Real Madrid obviously got their eyes on the Champions League by the looks of it, so those two. I think La Liga is almost going to be done now. Atletico Madrid, they picked up a 3-0 victory over Valencia. Valencia is still in trouble. They've still got some issues down there, but it's very tight again in their league, and anything down from kind of Mallorca, really. 32-26, maybe Celta Vigo could get pulled into it, but
very similar to the Premier League, isn't it? At the bottom, like looking at our Premier League, and then
you've just got Elche that are a little bit adrift, and then everybody else is well in a fight.
Yeah.
So Sevilla is still in there as well, and they're in the, they're obviously in the quarterfinals of the Europa League as well against Manchester United. So they've got a.
Is it true they're about to sack the manager and appoint him before the United game as well?
Oh, I don't want none of this new manager bounce nonsense. Yeah, we'll get Antonio Conte in there or something before before the Europa League. So yeah, they're still in a bit of a battle. Just looking through any other results, Villarreal 3-0 victors over Osasuna, so they're kind of fighting in for European places. But Real Betis are having a good season, of course, and they were the Man United's last opponents in Europa League. They beat Mallorca at the weekend too, and then Rayo Vallecano, another team with a good season, they had a single desi, not a double desi, with My Girona in 12th place there. Lovely result for the pair of them. And we have one more league before we will get to the FA Cup. Not because I forgot to do it before and you just reminded me, Shah, but definitely because I left it to the end. So we're going to do here. And in as Josh instructed me, we are now removing Paris Saint-Germain from the top of the French table to make it interesting. So there is an epic battle going on currently in France for the all-important second spot. It's
Do you know what I find really funny, though? Kim Kardashian went to both Arsenal this year and PSG,
I've
and
seen
she's done a
this.
Drake curse. So I quote tweeted it saying, I hope she comes to Crawley on Saturday.
Which goes to Crawley, yeah.
Just to come now.
Hayley's ordered her for the semi-final for Sheffield United against Man City.
No comment.
So at the top, almost at the top, yeah, Paris Saint-Germain lost, which was shocking to Rennes, but we still won't put them on because the points are still miles away from anybody else. It doesn't really matter. Marseille, Lens and Monaco, they all won at the weekend. Marseille beat the strong run of Reims 2-1. Lens beat bottom of the table Angers, or as Josh calls them, angers, very angry at the bottom with all these reds.
Conte, we'll call it.
Conte angers. And Monaco Lazio by 2-0 as well. The bottom again, sort of kind of tight, but Brest just holding firm. So insert your own jokes here with that one. They're just holding up, and that's it. That is the European. That is the European roundup. So, wow, I think we did it. We got through it. We've done the whole of Europe in a whistle-stop tour.
That killed me off.
And we've survived. We've survived it. But we're not going just yet because the FA Cup happened. The FA Cup is a thing. It's a massive thing. We've got 4 quarterfinals. Which one do we want to start with first? Go on then. I'll let you pick. Which one do you want to go with first? Charv, any preference?
I don't mind.
Let's go with the Man United Fulham game, shall we? I've waited the whole pod and I've not mentioned Man United once. I'm only joking, Hayley. Sheffield United, go on, go.
I was going to say, you just stole it away from me. Did you guys see Tommy Doyle's goal? It was sublime. It was fantastic.
Pile driver.
Yes. Even I was shocked. Like I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't a goal, and like it was so smooth. Like I was in awe, but I genuinely thought our first goal technically was an own goal from Blackburn, which was like whoopsie, and then they got one from a penalty as well, which VAR as per. Although I don't know if it was a penalty or not. I need to watch it back. Really, I haven't seen it properly to kind of make my mind up on it. But yeah, I didn't know if we'd win or not, to be honest. I was trying to go in with like not much expectation. So I was over the moon because like when you work quite closely with them, it kind of becomes like one of my little teams. Like I feel really bad if they lose. So I was and I did a little package for them for BBC Sheffield on Friday, and then I did a little add on with Carl Saber afterwards as well. So like that was I just got swept up in the build-up, to be honest, and I was just really, really happy for it.
The excitement. Because they played Blackburn a few weeks ago in the league as well, I think, and Blackburn got the better of that one, didn't they? So.
They did, and I think, and to be honest, I think Blackburn played okay, but I think the luck just was not on their side. Own goal, and obviously Tommy Doyle was just obviously enough to kind of just tip them. Yes, Chris makes a very good point. I'm actually not very happy about this. Doyle and McAtee, I think it is, will not be able to play against City unless City say it's okay, and they're not going to do that.
They're not going to do that, no.
Bloody Pep.
Pep not letting his players get trophies and medals. How very dare he? It's outrageous. Sheffield United are 180 minutes away and he's ruining their dreams. But no,
I'm down the road. I'll go and have a word.
Go and have a word. So Sheffield United made it through. Brighton made it through. They ended the dream of Grimsby. Grimsby had a fantastic run and just didn't quite.
Do you know what though? Doing it for League Two, so shout out to Grimsby because honestly they've smashed it and they've done League Two proud. Because as much as obviously like they're a team and they're nowhere near like obviously me or Rochdale, just to someone to obviously like go on a cup run like that, they honestly deserve it. And you think of like the money they've got from that cup run and obviously the TV money and what it could do for that club. So yeah, massive shout out to Grimsby. They've done absolutely brilliant.
Massive, and it just seems like such a while since a team from League Two, even League One, did it. I think I remember Wickham doing it one years ago. I remember Chesterfield doing it, I think, as well. But like, can't remember anyone in the recent times making it this far from League Two. So yeah, well done, Grimsby.
And Grimsby have been like, the fan base has been amazing. I think like it would really come out in force. Like I've been working at Humberside a little bit as well, and like last time I went in, I found an inflatable Harry the Haddock on my desk, which is like a little mascot that
the mascot
taking
fight,
around.
The mascot fight was the mascot fight was brilliant, and it couldn't be better timed, because if you haven't joined Shah and I's Light Bite this week, we went through mascots and we had a great time. So there will be a mascots part 2, guarantee. And
we inspired it. We inspired that fight.
I think we were talking about mascots having punch-ups, and then lo and behold,
I swear,
this
pod just kind of like,
makes things happen.
We're like podcast mystic Megs.
We are.
Mason Mount is going to knock on my door.
In that case, then, if we're going down that route, John Stones can knock on my door.
Both turning up with haddocks nicked from the Grimsby mascot. Classic. So Grimsby's dream ended. Brighton went through as well. So Brighton made through to the semi-finals. Erling Haaland, 8 goals in a week. Any worries that he was slowing down? No, Haaland's gone nuts again.
Could have got 10. I mean, come on, he could have got 10. He's rubbish.
It's just rubbish. Why not get to a nice round number?
How dare you don't get 10 goals?
Sort it out. Absolute disgrace. Sort yourself out.
Send him back.
Oh, dear. It's no good. It's no good. 8 goals for Haaland. And then the other game that we will talk about, Manchester United versus Fulham in the FA Cup quarter-final. It wasn't going very well, I must admit, after 70 minutes. But what a bizarre 45 seconds. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I mean, implosion on the kind of grandest scale.
I have watched back the Mitrovic push so many times today because I had to clip it for work, and I was just in awe. I was like, if he does not get at least a 5-match ban for that, I'll be very, very surprised, because it was very, very forceful.
It was forceful. The bit I can't get as well was that he pushed the referee, and the ref he produced the red very quickly. And Mitrovic did not change in his reaction whatsoever. Was just kind of like, well, I don't care about any of that. I'm telling you what. And he was like still continually in his face, thinking he's gone. Man's absolutely gone. And off the back of, I mean, so we'll break down this. Fulham, for me, they were very good, I thought, for most of the game. Deserved to be ahead. I was worried about Fulham completely in the set pieces prior to the game, and United gave away so many set pieces that we're going to get caught with one of these. We're going to get caught, and that's what happened. We've looked a bit leggy last couple of weeks, not quite on it. Casemiro not in the middle again. You've got McTominay, and it's just not the same. And I think Fulham's tactics were spot on. They played us brilliantly. But then, sort of one great counter attack. Sancho sat the defender down. I thought he'd then missed it. And as Chris said, self-destruction. What I liked best was Willian clear handball on the line, and he goes, "It's here. It's the chest." You figure they've got cameras, mate. They've got cameras. You're not going to get away with that these days. It's going to get checked. Madness. And then you've got the VAR. So it wasn't given originally. Back to VAR. Then we've got Marco Silva down the touchline. He gets a straight red, and then referee's got card up. In Mitrovic, you can have one as well, and it was just reds for everybody.
The calmest
full of drama.
Yeah. The calmest one was Willian, who actually got the straight red. He just walked off, to be fair to him, and then the other two, it was like, whoa. He
was, yeah. And Chris says, "Do you remember Di Canio when he pushed Paul?" I do remember. He shoved him, two-handed shoved him over.
Yes.
And then, as we said earlier, that's the problem for Fulham. It's the suspensions in the league. They've had such a good league season, but they were also so close to, even with 10 men, 1-1 at Old Trafford. If presuming would have still scored the penalty without all the other furore, they're still in the game. It's still United still weren't playing fantastic. Fulham are more than capable of digging in and making it difficult, and that was a real opportunity for them. So I think mad at themselves probably more than anything else.
Yeah. If I was a Fulham fan as well, I'd be so annoyed, because you think you've gone there, you've spent your money, you're obviously on top of the game, and then just the discipline of the players and the manager as well, it's like that has cost them.
It's bonkers, isn't it? And,
Yeah.
I think they were saying he can't really say anything to Mitrovic about losing his head a bit because, I mean, yes, whether he said I think he said in a post-match interview what he said. It was you can't go in the VAR box. You're not allowed. That's just straight off with a red.
Yeah.
So disappointing if you're a Fulham fan. United carry on. They've got a bit of a break now, hopefully international break. Rashford's got a knock. He's pulled out the England squad today, which I couldn't be more happier about. Go and rest up, Marcus. Get yourself sorted because he's very important in these last coming weeks. But we still have. So you've got Manchester City, Sheffield United. I'm sorry to say, Hayley, but obviously Manchester City heavy favourites in that game. I would love to see Sheffield United do it, but I think
I really hope they do. I really hope they do. But to be fair, weirder things have happened. So,
magic of the cup. Believe in the magic of the cup.
Yeah. So you never know. I'd like them to win. But Manchester City, so I won't hold my breath. Sorry, Blades fans, don't come after me. I know you. But but I'm rooting for Blades.
It's Well, I think we'll all be rooting for the Blades, but we'll see. I'm worried about Brighton in that other semi-final. Brighton play as good football as anybody at the moment, and they're going to go all hell for leather for this. And it'll be an entertaining semi-final. I think there's never ever been a Manchester derby in a final in either cup competition. So that's the first. But everyone's kind of talking about it already, and I'm saying Brighton are not. Don't roll. Brighton are not going to roll over there. That's a hell of a game we've still got to put together. And we've got a bad record against Brighton recently. So Brighton's a tough one. But just a question before we finish that Chris has asked here in the chat. Talking of referees and discipline, do you think that this division, that's the FA, need to bring in a rule that only captains should be allowed to speak to a referee? Charlotte, what do you think?
I think it depends on the captain, because from a Rochdale point of view, our captain, no offence to him, is Ebanks Landell, and he's not the most vocal and the most thingy. So I think it kind of depends. I do get it from one point of view, but I think at the same time, players do need to be a bit more disciplined, just as a whole. I do get a captain should speak, but I think the players do need to learn to be a bit more disciplined, because I think there's a lot of disrespect, even though it is frustrating with referees and VAR. I think there's a lot of disrespect towards referees, from a player's point of view, and thinking they can put their hands on them and shout and stuff. And as much as emotions run high and there is a lot of frustrations on the pitch, I do think there needs to be a bit more respect.
Needs control, doesn't it?
He agrees with me about Ebanks Landell.
And Hayley, what do you think? Captains only speaking to referees? Would it even be possible?
I don't think it is possible, to be honest. Because the thing is, what if the captain's involved in something that's gone off on the pitch, for example? Because then that's a very biased view. And not only that, the players might have seen something that the referee might not have. And I know most of the time, some referees will take other people's, views into account, obviously depending on how feisty the situation is. But I feel like referees in general have a bit of a bad rep, and some of them is because of, VAR or snap decisions are made and stuff like that. But there needs to be give and take on both sides, I think. Harsher punishments for those who do shove or push, because doesn't matter what they say or do, on the pitch, you should never shove or punch or hit or a referee. Just, it's just not on, in my opinion. But on the other hand, I feel like referees do need a little bit more support when it comes to making them decisions, unless they've been doing it a very long time and they're at a level where they can make it the right decision on the spot. But I can appreciate it's hard. I'm not a referee. I don't know. So I think there needs to be a bit of give and take on both sides, to be honest with you.
It's difficult with the intimidation, isn't it? I mean, first of all, you're in a massive stadium with everyone. I mean, no one loves the referees. You've got a massive stadium. You've got fans screaming at you both sides. You've got players both sides. You're kind of alone out there. Okay, you've got a guy in your ear, but it's quite I would imagine at times you have to be quite a character, quite an intimidating place when you got. So Mitrovic ain't a small guy, and I would imagine, quite a scary guy on quite occasions as well. Sort of being in the face. All of a sudden, you're thinking, he's not going to hit me, is he? He can't hit me. I'm a referee. And then all of a sudden thinking, but he might hit me. He might hit me.
And he was full on going for it. They were going for it, weren't they?
Well, they had to say Bowen Morta had to come on, didn't he, and drag him off, and they had to.
Yeah.
They'd completely lost the plot. So I mean, so Chris says, yeah, I mean, I think the referee did a decent job there. He kept his cool with it, did all he could kind of do with it. He made the decisions that are there in front of him, and he probably had a long report to write as well. So he was probably there for hours afterwards, having to
still doing it now.
up. He's still doing that. Oh, Jesus, how many red cards did I give? I can't remember. It was all going off.
It's all a blur.
It was all a blur. And yes, Chris, Weghorst protected the ref because Weghorst is a wonderful human being. Inside and out is Wout Weghorst, the lovely Wout Weghorst coming to the aid of the referee.
I want him to be my friend.
Yeah,
it reminds me of the BFG. I just want him to be my friend.
We'll sign him up. He is our official podcast. I'd love to get back. Wout Weghorst, the Wout Weghorst podcast. We're looking forward to that spin-off coming soon. I think we've covered it all. We've done as much as we can. We've had a round Europe, round England. We've had everything. It's been wonderful to talk football with you both. So the only leaves really to tell everybody where everybody can find you. Charlotte, where can everybody find you?
They can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. I am Sharex RAFC. And you can also find my Rochdale Her Game 2 stuff on the same. That's Rochdale HDT. And yeah, on here, I'm everywhere. I probably get annoying. Everyone's sick of me. I'm just everywhere. My face pops up, so I do apologise.
Here, there, and everywhere. Here, there, and everywhere. And Hayley, where can everybody find you?
I mean, don't come looking for me. That's just weird. But anyway,
yeah, not in the street. we mean socially over the
yeah. So Twitter, I'm Hayley_Grice. Instagram, I'm It's Hayley Grice, and TikTok, I'm Hayley Grice _. I'm not consistent. I'm sorry. Someone else stole my usernames. Don't come at me. Yeah, that's where you can find me online.
Can find you online, and so you can find me as Up the FN Ducks on, again, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, on YouTube as well. My channel that's up on there, and obviously the Absolute Football Podcast. I think we're Absolute Football Podcast on here. The Absolute Ball Pod it is on Twitter. You can find us on TikTok. We're doing the TikTok. If you want our mascot TikToks, do check out the mascot like by episode because we had a great laugh doing that one. We're definitely doing more mascots. There were more mascots coming because we really enjoyed it. And do keep an eye out for that West Ham episode, which we're going to be recording tomorrow and hopefully going to be dropping for you all soon. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks to Chris. Thanks to Lisa. Thanks to everybody who popped in and saw us and enjoyed the podcast with us. Thank you for supporting the pod. Do subscribe if you're not already, and we will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.